Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the 12-game NBA slate we have here on DraftKings. I'll be going over my favorite spin-ups, mid-range plays, and value plays. If you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. Really trying to make the push to 1,000 subscribers, so if you guys could help me with that and hitting that like button, would greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into the slate breakdown. Before I get into the slate breakdown, just want to say follow me on Twitter at HartDFS. Answering any questions you guys have, talking DFS for football, basketball, putting up my prize pick plays, talking PGA as well. All that good stuff is on my Twitter, HartDFS. Quick look back at my lineup from last night. You can see who I went with. I got top 3,006 out of about 53,000 in the main GPP on DraftKings. Tripled my money. Obviously, 5 to 15 is not groundbreaking at all, but it is still nice getting a little bit of a win here. Very low owned Tobias Harris goes off for 20 fantasy points in the first quarter. If you just had an average second half, I'd be taking down big money. If not, winning the whole thing. Probably would split with a few people, but I would have that opportunity because I was only 15 points out of first place. First place finished with 304, so I had 288. Very, very close. But yeah, Tobias Harris really screwed up. He didn't have a single fantasy point in the second half until less than 3 minutes in the game in the fourth quarter, where he finally got his first second half fantasy point with a steal. And then he got he got two layups right at the very end when they were already down 18. So that was super frustrating. Anthony Davis got like 20 in the first quarter and then very cooled off greatly towards the end of the game. Another guy who, if they both had decent second halves, once again, would be taking down huge money, but just want to run good one of these days. Hopefully it happens soon. But for the slate today, going to be a quick breakdown. I've tried to record this like 4 times. I end up just rambling on people. But as right now, with the 12 gamer, we know that there's a ton of options you can pay up, spend up for. I don't think you need to go that route. I think you can get very different by just doing like a mid-range build. I think on the 12-game slate, just with how people are priced, how these games are looking, I really think a lot of people are going to be on that Spurs game and the Rockets game. Obviously for good reason. Young players, they're going to play a ton of minutes. They're going to shoot the ball a ton, and they're all way too cheap. So that means you're going to want to start to fill out your lineup. I'd say at least 3 to 4 Spurs and Rocket players, and then just fill in the rest with, whoever you want. You can pay up for these stud guys, or you could, pay down for guys in like the 6, 7, 8K range, 9K range that do have, the ceiling to get you there. So I really think you can get unique on the slate by, even with playing those chalky Spurs and Rockets players, do think you can really get unique on the slate by just how many different options there are. So I'm going to do just a quick touch on my favorite plays in each range for each position. Luka, Ja, Kyrie, Beal, Trey, Dame, Murray are all in the 9 to 10K range for the guards. Obviously, we know what we're getting for Luka and Ja. Ja, more of a slow down pace game going against the Knicks, but I think my favorite play in this range is going to be Dame. Not a lot of buzz around him. He was out for pretty much all of last year after Christmas with that injury. I think people are rather going to pay up for guys like Luka, Ja, or pay down for a Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, or even an SGA. So I do really like Dame a good amount here in that range. In this 8K range, really likes SGA. The guy who can do it all. He's coming off the injury, but he has no minutes limit. So even in this matchup, they're going to be down most of the game. He's still going to play. So really like SGA 8,700. In the 7K range, Jamal Murray, I don't think you have to force it yet. I do think he's going to be probably the most improved player at the end of this year. Minutes will probably be monitored or limited. Also blowout risk, so don't think you have to go there. Halliburton, one of those guys in the 7K range I really like. All the minutes are there for him. Leading point guard on this team, main point guard I should say, has double-double upside with the assists and the scoring. He's a good shooter. Hasn't been shooting the ball a ton. Do expect his number to go up this year, so I really like him in that 7K range. Same thing with Garland. Even with the addition of Donovan Mitchell, we know what we're getting from Garland. Going to be running the offense, has massive upside with the assists and scoring the ball. Don't think Donovan Mitchell's going to eat up into his usage much. Ben Simmons, another good play. I know he can't score, but he's going to be doing all the other stats. He's going to be playing 35 minutes a game. If he gets you 10 points, he's easily going to pay off 7K. Brunson's worth mentioning the shot. 6,900 looks solid for him. in a pace-up matchup against the Spurs, or not Spurs, but the Grizzlies. Maybe there's a little bit of foul trouble if he does end up guarding Ja. Don't think they're going to put him on him, but don't mind that for number one option on the Knicks. Kevin Porter Jr., one of my favorite point guard plays. Massive upside, as I said. These Rockets and Spurs guys are going to be very, very chalky, as you can see why. So not much to say on that. 6K range, don't think there's anyone I truly, truly like. 5K range, once again, don't think you have to go to any of these guys. Monte Morris, well worth a mention here. Doesn't have massive ceiling upside, but he's very, very solid for probably a low-owned play, 5K going against a bad Washington or Indiana team. Plays no defense. He should see probably 30 minutes as their main point guard. Has assist ability with Beal, Porzingis as a main scorers on that team. He's a guy who can shoot the ball pretty decent. So wouldn't expect a ton of shots out of him, but 5K for a leading point guard on fast-paced team that shoots the ball a ton. Don't mind, taking that shot there, especially if you want to get off some ownership on the chalky plays. Quickly, absolute flamethrower off the bench. Minutes aren't guaranteed. They can kind of range from 20 to high 30s, depending on how the game goes. But 4,500 for him. Let's say Brunson gets in foul trouble, or if they're down and they need some instant offense, he's a guy with massive upside, especially in this matchup. So 4,500, you can definitely look to him. You can definitely look to probably the chalkiest play on the slate, Trey Jones, 4,200. A starting point guard for the Spurs. I don't really need to say anything else. I mean, the only thing that's going to affect these Spurs plays is the minutes, and if we get popped. But I do think we're in a pretty good position just to be able to play their main guys and feel safe with that. Shooting guard range, don't mind DeJounte Murray if you want to go there, but there's that little bit of blowout risk. 8K range, Anthony looks pretty solid. 7K, I don't mind taking a shot on Brandon Ingram. I just think him, CJ, and Zion, they're going to go game to game with, someone being the stud and the other two kind of doing okay. Maybe, Zion ends up being the main guy, but Brandon Ingram was on a was having a huge year last year towards the end of the year, so really expect him to evolve again this year. So 7,300 looks very solid for him. Mentioned Halliburton. Ivy, if his price was a little bit cheaper, I like it. He's going to play big minutes, being the number 2 option on Detroit. But once again, I don't know. 6,400 looks just okay. Jalen Green, Houston. Once again, another one of those chalky plays I really think that you need to lock in just because of the upside in the minutes. I think that does it for me in the shooting guard area. As I said, your lineups are probably going to be very similar. You're going to have to get different with a bunch of the stud plays, but these are guys I just want to mention. We'll mention Vassell as well, another one of those guys on the Spurs. He's more of a shooter. Doesn't do much of the peripherals, 2 assists a game, 4 rebounds. Do expect that number to go up, especially with his minutes. He'll probably see close to 35 minutes if he's playing well. Primo, another one of those Spurs guards, probably going to be the 6th man off the bench. Kind of like a Vassell, more of a scorer, but they do really like him. They're high on him. He will get minutes this year. I'd say at least 30, so you can definitely go to him because he'll be probably the lowest owned on that Spurs side when it comes to all the guards. Small forwards, I'll mention KD, solid spend up. DeMar DeRozan looks decent against Miami. It's a tough matchup. Zach LaVine's out, so maybe there's some blowout risk. Bulls have been looking terrible, but 8,800 looks solid for guys going to be their whole offense. Michael Porter Jr., the blowout risk is there, but this guy is going to step it up this year. Really guarantee it. 5,500 is going to be too cheap for him. Do think he's going to be around like a 7.5K, maybe you can closer to an 8K range by mid-year, by Christmas. Oubre, probably going to have to fill in for Miles Bridges. LaMelo Ball's out, so there's a ton of minutes to go around. This team's bad. He's going to play a ton. 5,500 for a guy who will probably play 30-plus minutes, shoot the ball a ton. Do like that a good amount in the Spurs matchup as a bring back. As I mentioned, Vassell. Herb Jones, the guy who's going to play big minutes. Not a high usage guy, but he can do a little bit of everything, get you a bunch of steals and blocks. It does help pay off his salary. A solid pivot play off of a bunch of chalky guys in that lower range to give you a good value play if you want to get different, with some of those cheaper plays. Power forwards, Zion, don't mind taking a shot there against Brooklyn. Just don't know if he's going to play all his minutes because he's coming off that ankle twist. Paolo, I like him a good amount, 6,800. I do think he's going to end up being the main guy on the Magic. So he's going to have double upside there. Jabari Smith, I'd rather get two guys like Porter Jr. and Jalen Green over Smith. They're cheaper. They have higher upside as of right now. Keldon Johnson, another great play, 5,900. Going to be the main guy on the Spurs. So the minutes are there, the shots are there. He's a guy who can rebound and assist as well. Like him a good amount. Cam Johnson, worth mentioning, good three-point shooter. Should see at least 30 minutes a game this year. 5K for a good three-point shooter. Do expect him to shoot the ball at least 10 times a game. Can get you some rebounds and assists as well. So 5K looks like a solid, mid-range play. Tyree Eason, another one of those Rocket guys, coming off the bench like a six-man, but he's kind of like a Lou Dort, can do pretty much everything. So don't mind taking a shot there if you want a little bit cheaper in terms of ownership. Rocket guy. Jalen Smith, I won't mention him. There's a lot of ton of bigs in that Indiana room. So they're all competing for time, but they gave him a contract extension, paying him money. So I do expect at least 30 minutes out of him. He's a little bit foul prone, but he's a good, energy big. He can score the ball, can rebound, can get you blocks. So 4,400 looks solid if he's going to play. If he's out, I have a play that I really, really like. And I don't mind taking a dart throw on that play, even if Jalen Smith's in, but he looks like a solid play, 4,400. But this is what I'm saying with these this slate. There's just so many guys like lower owned or cheaper that have huge upside just because of the amount of minutes and the amount of usage that they could have. Jokic looks like a good guy to anchor your lineup with. Same thing with Sabonis. Don't mind going there. His huge upside. Same thing with Porzingis. Another one of those guys, in the mid higher range that you can pay up for. Looks very, very good. Bam is pretty cheap going against Chicago. Had a very, very bad playoffs, but we know he has a good upside. Nurkic, another one of the guys, you can easily make a nice mid-range lineup with guys from like 4, 5, 6, 7K and just, have enough upside for guys, who can go off. So that's what I was mentioning at the beginning of this video. Sengun, question mark. I do think he'll get at least 25 minutes a game, but they're saying Bruno Fernando might start, so definitely keep an eye on that. Claxton starting, looks solid at 5,400 as a starting center for Brooklyn. And the last guy I'll mention is going to be, where is he? You can take a shot on a guy like Zach Collins, who's going to be the backup to Podol. Maybe plays 25 minutes, a high energy guy off the bench. But Isaiah Jackson, one of those guys, one of the big men in the Indiana room, that high energy guy, has a massive ceiling if he stays out of foul trouble. Don't think he'll start, but even in like 20, 25 minutes, he can get you, 37, close to 40 fantasy points, even with like a little amount of shots. Like he has huge upside. Great player. Don't mind taking a shot there. But yeah, that really does the breakdown. Pretty quick, still 13 minutes, but just wanted to touch on all those guys and say that you can easily play those chalky players and get different by just paying up for some stud players or even just paying in that mid-range and still having enough ceiling to be able to take this tournament down. So if you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.